Hi, Peter Charles here, Folk to Life Fly Fishing, and today we're going to tie the silver blue. It's one of the sort of like the blue doctor, silver doctor. It's in that same series of flies. It's a tinsel body fly, so it's quite bright in the water and works great if you've got a shiny day and you want that, fly to really glow in the water. So let's have a look at the materials. Our hook is a size 4 salmon single. We're going to use white 8/0 thread. Our tag and rib is a small oval silver. Our tail is going to be yellow floss. Our body is going to be silver mylar. We're going to have a blue throat and a gray squirrel wing. And in the end, we're going to be coloring our head red. So let's get started. Now, because we're tying in both a rib and a tag with this, we're going to make sure we have enough material. Don't cut it too short. Let's get rid of the waste there. Now just move this out of the way. Now what I'm going to try and do is minimize the amount of material at the back, minimize the amount of wraps, to try and minimize the size of the bump they're going to create. So now the time to tie in our floss, our yellow floss. We tie it in on top. Just a couple wraps to hold it. Flip it back. And now I'm going to pull that rib back as well. So now I've bind in just both the tail and the rib to prepare it for winding. And now I'm going to trim off my tail. Now for the mylar. Now we have a choice here. I can leave it like this and just put on my mylar, or I can try to fill that space up that's created right here. Now I've got a bump. I can look to fill that space in so the mylar goes on more smoothly. If you've looked at my Skady fly, you see the fun we had trying to get that mylar and that bump to coexist. Here I'm going to take the bump out by filling the space. So first I'm going to tie in the mylar. Put a wrap of mylar right at the back, and then we come forward. Now, if you'd seen my Skady fly, you would have seen the fun I had dealing with that bump. Now that I've filled up the space and minimized the bump, this becomes a great deal easier to handle. And I don't have nearly the same amount of problems. So, one is a more tedious method, but it's easier when we're putting on the mylar or the tinsel. The other is a quicker method, but we can end up with an ugly mess where the bump is. So, your choice which way you want to do it. Now at this stage you can either counter wind, which will wrap it in the opposite direction of the tinsel body, or you can wrap it the same direction. I'll leave it that as your choice. Counter winding tends to be a little bit stronger. So we'll counter wind today. Now we'll put in our throat. We're going to use a hair stacker. I'm going to put the length of the hook. Now, at this stage of the game, we've got a couple of choices. I could put a little bit of glue on that. I could wrap it all down and then come in with my red marker. And the trouble is with doing that, you end up with a bit of bulk. So I'm going to try and minimize the bulk of the head this time, show you perhaps a little neater head than the last fly, and just put the red on now. So I'm both binding the wing down and coloring at the same time. Now we whip finish. Now for a little head cement. There you go, the silver blue. Made a slightly smaller head this time. Still managed to get the wing to lay down the way I like. So as I say, don't get too hung up about the size of heads. I like some durability. We make a really, really tiny head. That wing can pull out unless we put some glue in it. So, you know, it's a trade-off. But this one's sort of halfway in between. It's a relatively neat head, and it still produces a fly that will fish well. So there you go, the silver blue. Give it a try. Cheers.